So you guys have already heard me talk about them a lot as a collective, but now I think it's time to start on a series where I talk about every Brockhampton member individually, because honestly, all of them promote themselves in a very unique way. So for this first episode of the Ultimate Guide to Brockhampton, I want to start with Matt Champion, one of Brockhampton's most noticeable and honestly one of the most distinct members in the group. So let's go ahead and jump right into Matt Champion and who he is. If you guys don't know who he is, his name is, Matt Champion. He was born on February 14th, 1995, and he has been a vocalist for Brockhampton for a couple of years now. One of the things that makes Matt super distinct in the group is that he really has some very versatile vocals. Honestly, probably some of the most versatile vocals in the industry today. I think one of the things that really makes him stand out from the rest of the group is that he has a very clear and cutthroat self-confidence and sort of like swagger to his persona. And you can definitely get that from whenever he raps. When he raps, it's very direct, it's very tough, it's very in your face. But honestly, to capture Matt Champion with like a certain amount of adjectives really won't do him justice. He's his own character, and honestly guys, I think he's a very, very distinct member of the group for many, many reasons, and honestly probably one of the most self-aware people within the group as well. So just to go into his origins a little bit, Matt Champion was actually born and raised in the Woodlands, Texas, which is a little suburb right outside of Houston, I found out. Matt attended Tough Elementary School, which is actually what the name of the school is, Tough Elementary. Very fitting for Matt, if you ask me. And went to high school, at the Woodlands High School. So the reason I mentioned the high school that he went to is because that's actually where he met Kevin Abstract, Merlin Wood, Amir, and Joba as well. But at the time, Joba was 1 year ahead of everybody because he is the oldest one in the group. So before Brockhampton, Matt Champion actually made a lot of music by himself in high school before he started to collaborate with some of the future members of Brockhampton. So he worked a lot with Joba, Kevin, Romeo, and ultimately like him working with everybody else is what led to the formation of the group. So Matt actually got his start back in 2015 on SoundCloud, and at the time he released 2 singles, Burn and You're Too Cool For Me, which if you guys haven't listened to already, I will include a link in the bio to those songs. So from the get-go, Matt really had a vision to become a musician or a rapper in any sort of way. Matt Champion was actually the first one out of the friend group to go on tour with Kevin when Kevin Abstract got his first deal, and when he put out his very first album. He was actually the only member of Brockhampton who went on tour for Kevin during Kevin Abstract's MTV 1987 album. So what exactly is Matt's role in Brockhampton? Well, Matt honestly probably has the most low-key personality out of everyone in Brockhampton, but what he lacks in his presence, he definitely makes up for with his confidence and his authenticity. Matt is very open about his views and very, very open about talking about social issues in Brockhampton's music. Matt in the past has shown and has been very willing to talk about things like misogyny and rape culture in the music. I think one of the most distinct verses from Brockhampton has to come from Matt Champion on his verse on Junkie, where he really just talks about rape culture. He talks about the importance of consent. He talks about how strongly he feels about it. But besides what we can take note of Matt, like through Brockhampton as a whole, he's a very private person. To this day, he actually has not had a personal one-on-one interview with any media outlet. If anything, he describes that because he doesn't like being in the spotlight. One of my favorite quotes by Matt Champion is actually something that he mentioned in an interview with Fader, and this was just sort of his role in the interview. It was through Brockhampton as a whole, though. So Matt goes on to say, "Brockhampton gives me something that's really rare in life. A large group of people with a similar mindset and a similar goal that understand you. It's almost like a family setting inside of a really intense workplace. Having that with 15 people is very rare for me, and I'm very blessed to have that. We all want to push each other to make exactly what we see inside our heads. We all want to push success with each other's music. In music, there is no end goal, because we're always just going to be there working on something else. I first started making music by myself, and then I met Kevin, Merlin, and Amir in high school. I found out they made music. One summer, I started hanging out with them and we did some shows together. Then, I really ended up becoming friends with them and making music with them. That was way back. So, going a little bit more in depth with Matt Champion's music, we can say that honestly, Matt Champion has a very West Coast rap sound to him. His ad-libs are probably some of the best out of everybody in Brockhampton, and if you guys want to go back and maybe listen to some excellent hooks by Matt, I definitely recommend hearing his verses on Bump, Queer, Team, Hottie, and Junkie. In terms of influences though, Matt has been very open as to who his inspirations are, and those people include Frank Ocean, Mac Miller, Tyler the Creator, Kanye West, A$AP Rocky, Childish Gambino, Gucci, and Rick James. To me, if I had to make a comparison right now, I would say that Matt Champion reminds me of another Mac Miller. Both of them have a very unique character, and not only that, but they both approach rap in a very similar fashion. So I can see why people have that connection there. I can see the inspiration being there, and more importantly, I can see why people really respect Matt Champion's sound. Matt Champion is honestly one of the most perfect embodiments of somebody that is dedicated to the music. Definitely one of the most recognizable members in Brockhampton because of his delivery, because of his verses, because of just how vocal he is during the music and how quiet he can be outside of it. Let me know in the comments, what is your favorite Matt Champion verse? Where do you think he shines the most? And if you guys haven't already, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. The next person I'm going to cover in this series is going to be Kevin Abstract, so keep an eye out for that video. It's going to be a really good one. We all know how open and how important Kevin is to the group, so I think there's a lot to learn about Kevin. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one.